Fill a glass of water from a tap in New York City. Now fill one in Los Angeles. Now one in Phoenix. They look identical. Same clear liquid, same H2O, same two hydrogen atoms holding hands with one oxygen atom. But taste them side by side, and something strange happens. One tastes clean, almost sweet. Another tastes faintly metallic. A third tastes like a swimming pool decided to move into your kitchen. Same molecule, a completely different experience. So what's actually going on here? Why does water, arguably the simplest, most abundant compound on Earth, taste like a completely different substance depending on which city you live in? The answer isn't really about water at all. It's about everything water touches on its way to you. Water is never just water. Here's the first thing to understand. The water coming out of your tap has never, at any point, existed in a pure state. Rain falling from the sky picks up dust, pollen, and dissolved gases before it even hits the ground. Once it lands, it either soaks into soil, absorbing minerals like calcium, magnesium, and iron, or it runs into a river or lake, picking up organic matter, sediment, and whatever's dissolved in the local geology. By the time water reaches a treatment plant, it's already a chemical cocktail unique to its region. This is called the water's source profile, and it's the first reason your city's water doesn't taste like the next city over. Cities near limestone-heavy regions, think Texas Hill Country or parts of Florida, pull water loaded with calcium and magnesium carbonate. That's what makes water hard. Hard water often tastes slightly chalky or mineral forward. Some people love it. Others think it tastes like they're drinking a rock. Cities that pull from granite watersheds or soft rock regions, like much of the Pacific Northwest, get water low in dissolved minerals. That water tends to taste lighter, sometimes almost sweet, because there's nothing masking the plain taste of H2O. So, step one of the mystery is solved. Geology writes the first draft of your water's flavor. Then comes the treatment plant. But raw source water isn't safe to drink straight from a river, so it goes through treatment. And this is where the flavor really gets engineered, intentionally or not. The single biggest flavor factor most people never think about is disinfection. In the United States, the two dominant methods are chlorine and chloramine. Chlorine is cheap, fast-acting, and kills pathogens efficiently. But it also reacts with organic matter in water to form compounds that can taste and smell distinctly like a public pool. If you've ever noticed your city's water smelling faintly of bleach right after a rainstorm, that's chlorine working overtime because storm runoff dumped extra organic material into the source water. Chloramine, a combination of chlorine and ammonia, is longer lasting and produces fewer of those harsh byproducts. Many large cities, including Los Angeles and parts of the Midwest, switched to chloramine specifically to reduce that pool water taste. The trade-off is chloramine can leave a faint ammonia-like or mildly medicinal taste of its own, especially in warmer water. Neither method is more dangerous than the other at regulated levels. But your nose can detect chlorine byproducts at concentrations as low as a few parts per billion. That means you can taste a difference so small it's chemically almost irrelevant to your health, but perceptually enormous. The pipes are part of the recipe. Here's where it gets even weirder. The treatment plant isn't the last stop. Water's flavor keeps changing on its journey through the city's pipe network, infrastructure that, in many American cities, was laid down 50, 80, even 100 years ago. Older systems often use cast iron, or in some legacy cases, lead piping. As water sits in these pipes, especially overnight, it can pick up trace metallic notes. This is one reason first thing in the morning tap water often tastes slightly different than water drawn later in the day, after the pipes have flushed. Newer systems use PVC or ductile iron, which are far more neutral, contributing little to no flavor of their own. Then there's the plumbing inside your own building. Copper pipes can impart a faint tang, especially in soft water regions where the water is naturally more corrosive and pulls trace copper into solution. Buildings with older galvanized steel pipes can add a metallic or slightly bitter note. So by the time water reaches your glass, its flavor has been shaped by ancient geology, a treatment plant's disinfection chemistry, decades-old municipal pipes, and finally, your own building's plumbing. 4 completely different systems layered on top of each other, and you taste the sum of all of it in a single sip. Why bottled water confuses the comparison. This is also why bottled water often tastes cleaner to people, and it's not always about purity. Many bottled waters use reverse osmosis, which strips out nearly all dissolved minerals, then sometimes adds back a small, consistent mineral blend for taste. That consistency is the point. A bottle of water made in a factory in Ohio tastes identical to one made in Georgia because the entire process is standardized. Tap water, by contrast, is inherently local. It reflects the rock under your city, the river it draws from, the chemistry of its treatment plant, and the age of the pipes beneath your street. It's arguably one of the most place-based things you consume every day, more tied to geography than most food you eat. There's also a seasonal layer to this that most people never notice. Water utilities often adjust treatment slightly throughout the year. In summer, warmer source water holds more organic matter and can require higher disinfectant doses, which is part of why tap water sometimes tastes stronger in July than in January. Some utilities also switch between surface water and groundwater sources, depending on rainfall and reservoir levels, and each source carries its own mineral signature. A city that blends 2 different water sources might have a slightly different taste profile from one month to the next, even though nothing about the treatment process itself has changed. Temperature plays its own trick on your taste buds too. Cold water suppresses your ability to detect dissolved compounds, which is one reason chilled tap water almost always tastes cleaner than the same water at room temperature. Chlorine, minerals, and trace organics are still there. Your tongue is just less sensitive to them at lower temperatures. This is also why taste tests done by water utilities are typically standardized to a specific temperature, because otherwise the results would be meaningless. Even the container you drink from changes the experience. Water sipped from a glass tastes different than water from a plastic bottle or a metal canteen, partly because plastic can impart a faint taste of its own, and partly because the material affects how quickly the water warms in your hand. Glass is essentially neutral, which is why professional water tasters, yes, that's a real job, always use plain glass tumblers when comparing samples side by side. The takeaway. So the next time your water tastes a little different on vacation, or your friend swears their city's water is somehow better, you're not imagining things, and neither are they. That subtle difference in taste is telling a much bigger story than most people realize. You're tasting an entire hidden infrastructure system, the geology of the water source, the minerals picked up along the way, the chemistry used during treatment, and even the age and material of the pipes carrying it to your faucet. Decades, sometimes more than a century, of engineering decisions are compressed into a single, ordinary glass of water. If you want to actually test this yourself, try this. Fill 2 glasses from your tap, let one sit uncovered for 30 minutes, and taste them side by side. You'll likely notice the sitting glass tastes milder, because some of the chlorine has off-gassed. And if this kind of hidden infrastructure deep dive is your thing, the invisible systems running underneath everyday life, hit subscribe. This is exactly the kind of thing we dig into every episode, and you don't want to miss the next one.